So then after that, I don't have a flavor or understanding of the pipeline. They put away the Pizza Connection guys essentially was the losing team, was the Badalamenti guys along with the Banano guys. But what about the Gambino? What about the Lucchese? What about the Harlem guys? Where were they getting the drugs from? They had to be getting it from Palermo, and I still think that they do to this day. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, especially so the laboratories where they were processing the morphine, they were I mean those didn't get disrupted just
Correct.
because the local boss might have been killed by the guys in Corleone. That doesn't mean the laboratory was gone.
Yeah,
and the smuggling routes were still there.
Versus also the Joe instead of whoever. Yeah.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah. So I agree with you. It didn't. I don't think it was. I think there was little, if any, disruption, and I think that both sides were basically fine with that. I mean, what do they say? Like in The Godfather, business not personal, because the two Inzerillos who were killed in Jersey, they were set up by their own family members. I mean, you want to talk about some Godfather tragic shit. I mean, that's how they were set up by literally their own relatives, blood relatives, because that was, as you point out, that was non-negotiable.
Correct.
With Totorina. I mean, he said, we'll let the rest of them stay there, but those two, that's non-negotiable. And they gave them up. And Castellano was related to those guys too.
Well, real quick, but a good point, real quick. Castellano had to prove that hit. I don't think he really had a choice. I don't think he was fearful. No. But I just think like the old school mentality was, oh, Sicily needs this. Let's just do this. I may need a favor and out of respect for Toto or whoever. So that part's easy, right? So he signs off on it. They probably weren't bigger, whatever reason he signs off, right?
Yeah.
But then what I don't get is, and I did a show on this. Did you ever Rosario Naimo? Did that name ever come across here? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
He was Rihanna's guy here.
Right.
He got made by the Lucchese's. I believe the reason was because there's no way the Gambinos could make him because there were so many Anzarellos there. Like, oh, I just killed your whole family. Oh, let's sit down and break bread. So it makes sense. And it's funny because I used to ask John, I believe the Lucchese's were like the least Sicilian family, in my opinion. Like the least, not after time Lucchese, of course, but I'm just saying the least like other side guys. Like I don't think they even had a full crew of Zips. Just my opinion, but
no, I agree. The reason why I was shaking my head is because I don't the Colombos I would put there too.
You're right. You're right. My bad. You're right. Because they're all Brooklynites.
Right.
I would say least Italian.
Right.
Is Colombo and then Lucchese.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I would say for sure. I think there's no question about that.
Good point. So Nemo's here, and he was an informant. I know you got to take their testimonies with or interviews with a grain of salt. But supposedly Totorina was going to kill Gotti because he didn't have anybody here. Castellano was essentially his last guy. And the Gambinos were always plugged in with Palermo. The Genovese, not so much as, the other families just, maybe the Bananos a little bit, but they were more where you're from, families from. So I feel like that might have been when there was a sea change where like they were kind of connected transatlantically and then not. But then later on, that pendulum kind of swung the other way. And again, I don't like to talk about current guys, but it's a story that was public about how Ernie Grillo went to Sicily and they kind of rolled out the red carpet. Did you guys cover that at all?
No, I mean we haven't talked about that too much. Not that aspect of it. I mean we did the looking at the comments there. Yeah. I mean it wasn't. Frank and I have talked about that. It's more of like Breaking Bad, like in a trailer.
Yeah.
It's not like Pfizer pharmaceutical high tech laboratory. Yeah, fair point. I mean, I think a lot of the transatlantic stuff was just over Gotti's head. If I can say that. One of the political gestures that I always thought was very interesting was we know that a lot of the time when John Gotti had to meet with John Gambino, John Gotti went to him. He went to